everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Jessica and we are Unite Inside, and we help people unite with all the parts inside of them. This is going to be a very important video for your self-healing. If you want to learn to heal yourself, it's very important to learn how to master your emotions. So this video is about emotional mastery, which is a very important skill to learn if you're interested in healing yourself. So why is it important to learn how to master our feelings and emotions? It's because learning to master our feelings, it's actually a skill that we were supposed to learn as kids. But because our parents, most of them don't know nothing about trauma, about pain, about how the inner child works, like all these things, they traumatize us because of their lack of education when it comes to mastering emotions, because they themselves don't know how to master their own feelings. They themselves have a problem with that, okay? And so most people live in a reactionary way, okay? They just react to circumstances. They don't know how to master and hold their feelings. There's no way that it's very clear to us that most people live like that. They're just reacting to their reality. If something bad is happening, they're sad and they're broken. If something good is happening, they're happy and they're high. It's like their reality just changes how they feel and triggers them, and they live in a powerless state. Because when you let other people and things outside of you control you emotionally, and when you let yourself be in this reactionary state, you are actually giving away your power. So how do you get your power back? By learning certain skills that can lead you to being able to have emotional mastery. Okay, so there is one skill that we didn't really learn from our parents because they didn't know how to do it to themselves, which is self-soothing. Most parents don't know how to self-soothe. And the thing is, when we're kids, we're very emotionally dependent on our parents, like for safety, for connection, for self-worth. We're just dependent on them. We want them to give us validation. We want them to be the space that can help us feel, that can help us experience different emotions. But when you're a kid and your parent doesn't soothe you, first of all, let me explain to you what does self-soothing mean. Self-soothing, or soothing in general, what does it look like when a parent is soothing their child? It looks like letting their child cry and express their feelings. It looks like while cry on their shoulder. It looks like a certain physical touch that can really help someone feel calm, like I said, like cuddling, like hugging your child while it's crying, while he or she's crying. It can look like being the space to listen to your child while your child is expressing how they feel. It can look like showing compassion and understanding. It can also look like asking your child questions about how they feel. It looks like you feel angry right now. What is it that's upsetting you? And just showing that you empathize, showing that you're there for them. But when you don't do this, most parents are bad at this. They're bad communicators, and it's not their fault, but it's also their responsibility that they weren't aware of it. So basically what happens is, as a child, your nervous system is very sensitive. It's very new. You just came to this world. So it's very emotionally draining and emotionally overwhelming for you to experience any sort of big, heavy feelings as a child. Like, for example, experiencing deep shame, deep guilt, deep fear, especially heartbreak or hurt. When a child is hurt by their parents, it's actually a very scary experience, because the child feels like he's gonna be just like discarded and like betrayed, left out. That's how you could start like creating abandonment issues as a child, because you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if your parent hate you, if your parent love you. There's a lot going on, and kids are very emotional, and so they need that kind of communication and like let's say self-soothing. Like they need their parent to be there to hold them, to hold space for them, to let them experience their feelings without shaming them, without telling them that their feelings are wrong and that they shouldn't experience it, without telling them to just like smile and be happy. Something that happens with like parents that love their kids or think that they love their kids is that they stop them from feeling pain. They want to make them happy, so they distract them every time they feel pain. But honestly, your kid wants to feel pain because they want to resolve it. They want to process it. That's the thing. But you as a kid, you wanted to process your feelings. You wanted to talk about them. You wanted to feel good about them. But when a parent, instead of like talking to you about what makes you feel sad, what makes you feel upset, or like just at least like being there present while you're going through your feelings, while showing you that they are with you, while providing compassion. I'm not saying that your parent has to coach you through every single feeling, but I'm saying that your parent has to be a safe place and space for you to express those feelings and emotions. And also, a child needs to feel that they're not alone in their pain, that they're not alone in their hurt, or that hurt and pain turns into trauma. Trauma is basically when pain isn't being acknowledged, when pain isn't being processed. I have explained this in other videos about healing, that pain, that trauma is unprocessed and unresolved feelings. Once you resolve and you process those feelings by talking about them, by getting what you need emotionally, okay? If you don't do this, which you needed to do with your parents, you create trauma. You start to believe that you're worthless. You start to create beliefs that come through because your brain is incapable of understanding why is it that I'm going through this pain. So they come up, your brain comes up with like with explanations like, oh, it must be because I'm not worthy. It must be my parent ignored me. It must be because I'm a horrible person. But maybe in reality, your parent maybe was busy. And if your parent just expressed to you that they were busy and that they're sorry that you felt this way, you will feel better and you wouldn't think that you're not worthy. Okay? But your parent didn't provide that kind of safety, emotional safety that you needed. So what happened to you is that you were left out with your pain, and so which your pain started basically your pain was adding up. It was like this pain, and it happens again and again and again, and your parent does this again, and you don't talk about it, and you try to talk about it, but your parent stops you and they distract you, and that's how you create trauma. That's how you start to feel unworthy. That's how you start to feel unimportant, because you are not acknowledged. Your feelings are not acknowledged and being validated by your parent. So what happens to you is that you're left out by your pain by yourself, with your pain by yourself, and then you have to deal with it. You just have to deal with it. As a kid, you just have to deal with how painful heartbreak feels. And you're literally 4 years old, you're 3 years old, and you have to like deal with how painful the separation now feels, okay? And so what do? It's so overwhelming for your system, so your brain doesn't let you experience it. Why? Because if you keep experiencing it, your brain, something's gonna happen. Your brain is gonna explode. Something bad is gonna happen in your body because you keep going back and forth between, am I worthy? Is everything okay? What is going on with me? You keep going back and forth, and it drives you crazy that your brain steps up and it tries to save the situation. How does it do that? By creating a coping mechanism, okay? A coping mechanism is nothing but something that you do that you cope with pain because it isn't being resolved. You don't know as a kid how to resolve your pain. You don't know how to sit with it. You don't know how to make yourself feel better. And so because you don't know how to do that, and because it's so painful to feel it, because you don't feel like it's safe to feel it. It feels like hell. If your parent was with you telling you that I'm here, I love you, I'm here with you, you will be able to feel your pain. You will feel comfortable feeling it because you know that you're not alone in it, and that you know that you're all loved. Okay? So what I'm saying, when the child creates a coping mechanism, they create it to protect themselves from how painful it feels to go through that kind of pain that they're going through. Okay? So the coping mechanism will look like they need to cope with pain, and mostly it's pain that keeps being repeated. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you are someone that their dad used to always go to work and without telling them, and you just felt betrayed. Like every time your dad went to work for hours and hours, you felt like your dad disconnected from you, and so like and maybe when he came home, you try to express to him, you cry, you express how sad you feel that your dad is coming late home, and instead of your dad acknowledging that you feel sad, and this is like hard for you to go through the fact that your dad being always with you and then suddenly going to work for hours and hours, you know. And so like you know, a child can experience like it can feel separate, it can feel hurt, it can feel like and so they start to assume things, because every time the child, imagine that every time you try to tell your dad and you express how sad you feel, your dad doesn't take you seriously, and your dad thinks that you're just a child that's crying, and instead of like actually paying attention and listening, imagine if and also allowing you to self-soothe by like holding your hand and like looking at you and showing you like intimacy and connection. Instead of doing that, your dad either gets mad at you for like being a brat, because they think that you're being a brat and you're just like expressing their feelings. It's even worse when a child is trying to express their feelings and their parent is making them feel bad for it, which makes the child take it in and not express it anymore. And so if that was you as a child will stop expressing how sad you feel to your dad, and you will just assume that your dad hates you, that your dad doesn't really like you. Why? Because you are ugly, because you are not very fun, because you are not very interesting, because you're not very lovable, because your dad doesn't like you. You will start to assume these thoughts about yourself. And it only begins when the pain keeps repeating and it's not being resolved. Okay? So what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna live with the reality that you're unworthy? No, you're gonna try to create a coping mechanism that can help you cope with your hell reality of your dad going hours to work and coming back by, I don't know, trying to create some manipulative thing that can make your dad stay, or maybe like becoming a people pleaser, starting to like do a lot of things for your dad so that your dad can stay more, or like being more of a good boy or more of a good girl, so that your dad can like acknowledge that and like give you attention. This is what a coping mechanism is. Examples of coping mechanisms can be narcissistic disorder. The narcissistic disorder is also a coping mechanism. When someone is being narcissistic, it's actually they have already created a coping mechanism to cope with the pain they're going through, with the self-unworthiness. So basically, coping mechanisms in general can be very like bad. It can hurt other people. When your child creates a coping mechanism, it can hurt you. Why? Because they can become manipulative, because then they separate themselves from you, because you no longer communicate to them, and so they try to get what they want in their own way. And even if that way cannot be healthy, they still do it. Okay? So what I mean with this is that most coping mechanisms, they like cope with pain, and so like once someone is like finding a way to cope with pain, they no longer feel that pain because they have disconnected from it. Your consciousness disconnects from pain as a child because it's too painful. When your consciousness disconnects from pain because it's too painful, you can experience numbness. You can experience not knowing what your feelings are, not understanding what are you feeling. You can experience like coping mechanisms like anxiety. Anxiety can also be a coping mechanism. Someone that doesn't have anybody to soothe them as a kid can go through a hard time feeling safe in their body because of so much pain that they're experiencing. They don't feel safe in their body anymore. And so anxiety is like a warning to the body. It's like, oh, I don't feel safe, I don't feel safe. Anxiety is like a feeling that washes your whole body, and it says that I don't feel safe, I don't feel safe. It's like a warning, okay? Depression can also be, like a coping mechanism. It's when someone experiences a lot of trauma and pain, which leads them to thinking that they're worthless. And so basically, like, because they try so hard to hold that pain in their body, there is so much pain that you can hold in your body as a kid. So like, it comes out as depression, because at some point you go through phases in your life where you only feel horrible about yourself, ugly, disgusting. You feel disgusted by yourself because no one was there for you. And so you feel like, maybe I am disgusting. This is how trauma gets created. I didn't think that this video was going to be about explaining to you how trauma gets created, but yes, this is how trauma gets created. You start doubting yourself because no one is there to tell you what's really going on. That no, they love you. If her dad if the example that I just told you, if that child's dad told them, hey baby, I love you, I need to work so that I can provide for you, okay? And so like, I still love you, you're still in my heart, and tell me what I can do to make you feel better, okay? If the parent told this to the child will start to feel safer and better, and they won't hate themselves, and they won't create any sort of manipulative coping mechanism to get what they want, because they will feel safe and they will trust their father, especially if the father is keeping their promises, is listening and holding space. So as an adult now, you have to learn how to self-soothe. You have to do this to your own pain. You have to learn how to be your own parent. Okay, this is what this video is about. Learning how to master your emotions is a skill that we should be teaching our children, but you should teach yourself that now, so that you can hold your pain, soothe your pain, and make yourself feel better, okay? Because your pain, you don't know how to regulate yourself. You don't know how to self-soothe, okay? You don't know how to self-soothe. And let me explain to you why it's very dangerous. That not knowing how to self-soothe can be very dangerous. Let me explain it to you why. It's because when you start to, it's because you hold so much pain in your body that you haven't processed, that you haven't let go of, okay? And that affects your brain, your cells, your body. It could create problems, physical problems. It could create, I'm talking about sickness. You can literally get sick because this is actual pain, toxicity in your body that you're holding in your body. When you don't process pain and hurt, you actually keep it in your body. So this is why it's dangerous. It's because it is in your body. And you wonder why you feel so anxious, and you wonder why you have depression episodes, and you wonder why your mood gets crazy at times, and you wonder why you get crazy at times, and you wonder why you can actually have disorders like borderline disorder. Borderline disorder is actually caused by someone being constantly invalidated and feeling extreme deep levels of shame, and like extreme levels of like betrayal and abandonment issues. Okay, you feel abandoned, left out, all of that. Why? Because you didn't resolve your trauma. And you can suffer all your life from depression and anxiety, and you can go to the doctor, okay? And the doctor that you can, not a doctor, but a therapist. You can go to a therapist, and the therapist you can spend years and years healing yourself from depression and anxiety, but it always comes back. You always will be anxious. You will come back to being anxious. I actually had a bunch of mental illnesses that I was like struggling with. Like, I had depression, I had anxiety, I had OCD. I had a bunch of weird mental illness issues, and I used to go to a therapist. I used to get medication for that, and it will go away for like a certain amount of time, but then it will always go, it will always like come back. I will always become depressed again. I will always become sad again. I will always become anxious and OCD again, you know. But the moment I started healing myself and resolving my actual pain that needed to be resolved, everything, all that, it just disappeared. Can you believe that? The anxiety disappeared. It was like gradually going away, gradually disappearing. So the anxiety disappeared, the depression disappeared, the OCD was calming down. Everything was calming down because I was healing my body and processing and like resolving all that pain. Okay, this is your secret to healing your mental illnesses and to healing everything about yourself, even your body. There were times when I would get headaches out of nowhere. There were times when I would get pain in my legs for no reason. I discovered that it was a manifestation of the pain that I was holding in my body, the trauma that I was holding in my body. Okay? Because as soon as I started healing myself, the pain was going away. The headaches were going away. The leg pains were going away. So it must be that I'm clearing out all that pain. Okay? So now that you know about this, let's begin giving you 2 steps to learn, okay, so in this video, I'm gonna teach you 2 things, okay? The first thing is gonna be how to self-soothe, and the next thing will be how to take responsibility for your feelings, for your triggers, for your trauma, for your emotions, okay? So let's begin. 1, how to self-soothe. The first thing you have to learn is how to be present with yourself while you have an emotion, how to be with it, learning how to be and sit with that pain without distracting it, without getting up and going to get something to eat, or without drinking it, or without drinking whenever you feel that feeling. Just learn how to be with the feeling. That's how to, when you do that, you show yourself that you are there for yourself, and that's the self-soothing that you need, is to know that you are there with yourself. Knowing that you are there with yourself is what you needed. You needed that presence of your parents, and now you can give it to yourself. By learning to just not distract yourself, surrender to the pain, be with it, listen to it, just be with the pain. Listen to the pain. What is it telling you? Is it screaming? Is it yelling? Is it sad? What is going on? Just feel it. We are so scared of feeling our feelings because we're so scared of feeling our feelings because we think that something horrible is going to happen if we feel them. Actually, no. Healing is going to happen. Resolving is what's going to happen. So being with your feeling while holding yourself. Yes, learn how to hug yourself while you feel a certain feeling and just validate it. Just give it compassion. Tell it that it's okay. You understand that it's in pain. Tell it you have the right. Literally say this to yourself. You have the right to feel this. I understand. You are valid. It's okay that you feel this. I love you, regardless of how you feel. I am here with you. I am here with you. It's okay that you feel this. I love you. I am here. I am present with you. I love you. And I understand. I understand it's painful. I understand it hurts. I love you. I get it. Things like that. And you might even start to cry while you're doing this because it's a very emotional thing when you finally feel safe within your own body, when you finally feel like you can validate yourself. This is how to learn how to hold yourself while you feel your feelings, how to love yourself, that you even love your pain, that you're willing to be with it and to feel it, okay? So expressing the pain to yourself. The pain wants this from you. It wants it from you because if you don't give it to it, it will create a coping mechanism and it will just ruin your life. it will be in your body, and it will be like a toxic thing in your body, and because of it, you will feel unworthy because you haven't resolved it yet. You can tell yourself, I'm sorry that you feel unworthy. I'm sorry that you're in pain. I'm sorry that they did that to you. I'm sorry that it feels that way. This is you practicing compassion towards yourself. Compassion can be such a powerful method that can be amazing for your healing. Okay, so I'm gonna share with you a bunch of self-soothing techniques that you can take whenever you're going through very emotional, overwhelming pain that you want to run away from, for example. One, crying. If you're very overwhelmed and it's too painful, cry it out. Yes, crying helps. It expresses your feelings. It releases feelings. Cry. Do cry a lot when you're going through feelings, okay? Nothing bad is gonna happen to you. Express it. Crying actually helps you because there are hormones that are being released in the body that are actually responsible for self-soothing. So the second thing you're gonna do is tapping. Tapping is a beautiful technique that can help you process the pain. And this is what it is. You're gonna tap on your cheeks, in your chin, and your forehead, and your hand like this, and your armpit. And you're gonna like tell yourself while you're feeling this pain, let me give you an example for it. Let's say that I feel unworthy. Even though I feel unworthy right now, I am present with myself and I still love myself. Even though I feel unworthy and unlovable, I am here with myself and I will be present with myself. So this actually, while saying these affirmations and tapping, it helps your pain to like resolve while you're feeling it. And also it helps show you the pain that you're going through, that like you're there for it. You're there for it. These are the places to tap. Here, 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 here. I'm showing you where to tap. Okay. So this is a tapping exercise that can help actually calm your nervous system, because honestly, when your nervous system is overwhelmed, it tends to shut down, okay? And when your nervous system shuts down, this is how you experience anxiety and these bad things that you don't want to experience. So for you to not experience it and to ground yourself, this is a good exercise to show your body that you're safe. This makes your body feel safe because you're telling your body, especially with the combination between this and your affirmations, it can make your body feel safe, okay? And therefore you will feel emotionally safe to feel your pain, okay? The third thing you're gonna do is shaking. Shaking your body can actually be a beautiful tool for shaking out trauma, actually. So while you're going through pain, you can be crying and shaking it. Just shake your legs, and just shake your hands like this, literally, while you're going through pain. It can be such a good healing movement for you, okay? So the, what is it? Is it the third one or the fourth? I think it's the fourth one. The fourth one is affirmations. Affirmations can be such an amazing tool, okay? To heal from, to process your pain. Because you can be telling yourself affirmations while you're hugging yourself and you're letting yourself feel. You can say, you are beautiful, you are good enough, I love you, I believe in you, I am here for you. You can just tell yourself what will comfort you and make you feel good while you're going through your emotions, okay? So now that we know that, okay, so another tool is breathing. Deep breathing while you're feeling your feelings is very helpful and grounding and will make you feel safe, will make your nervous system feel safe. Okay, so movement, another one can be movement. You can move, you can walk while you're feeling your feelings. And certain movements can pretty much help you, like yoga movements. You can be doing yoga poses and for the first, you can be doing that and feeling how your pain, okay? Also, water can help you. You can water. You can project any energy towards water. So like spiritually, you can do that. So you can hold a cup of water and project an energy of compassion and safety and holding space, and then drink it while you're going through your feelings, and that can be very healing, very, very, very healing for you. That can pretty much help you heal, okay? So I actually planned on giving you another step, which is taking responsibility, but I didn't mean for the video to be this long. So I will be making another video about how to take responsibility for your feelings then. I love you, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. This is like the deep inner work that you need to do to heal yourself. I love you. I hope that you heal. If you like this video, don't forget to share it with friends and leave a like, leave a comment. I love you, and I will see you in the next video.